Thousands of restaurants and riders have been left high and dry when Deliveroo shut up shop here. The fallout may get ugly.
Charlie, well, it's never a good thing when a company closes down.
I didn't think something like that could ever go under.
A lot of businesses are struggling, unfortunately, and restaurants probably just can't afford to have those things at the moment.
It's just a heartbreaking decision.
It's the suddenness that has shocked so many. Deliveroo calling in the administrators and leaving some 12,000 restaurants and 15,000 riders in the lurch. So what do those affected by this decision think about Deliveroo taking itself off the menu? As he arrived for work, Vernon Singh, manager of Sea Salt Kitchen on Melbourne's Lygon Street, was still digesting Deliveroo's announcement.
I feel sad for them, because they're not a small company, they're a well-known platform. They did have quite prompt, reliable drivers or riders, which sometimes the others may lack.
Sea Salt had been using Deliveroo for close to 3 years, but Singh says it only brought them a third of the orders that Deliveroo's rivals did.
It's unfortunate, it's sad, but obviously Uber has the market sewn up,
A few doors down at Cafe Stuccicino, owner Ange was brewing over the unexpected news after only recently cutting ties with Deliveroo. Were you shocked when you heard it had gone under?
I was. I didn't think something like that could ever go under. There were so many. I see them every day. So many of them come past picking up food and all that stuff. So I was very shocked, especially just like that, instantly.
Despite sounding like an Aussie brand, Deliveroo was founded in the UK in 2013, expanding down under 2 years later. The company has an estimated worth of more than $3 billion, but has failed to compete with the likes of Uber Eats and Menulog here in Australia.
The decision must have been made in London a little while ago.
Associate Professor Rob Nichols from the University of New South Wales says the only ones not shocked by this decision would have been Deliveroo's UK-based leaders.
There would have been a bit of planning in advance, but there was no notice given other than the notice that that's it, we're shutting up shop in Australia.
Professor Nichols says Uber is better placed to win the Australian market.
Uber had two advantages. One, they had a large number of drivers who, instead of driving people around, could be driving meals around. The second thing is that they had branding. So many people had the Uber app on their phone, and adding on Uber Eats as another app was just a logical thing to do.
But knowing why Deliveroo failed doesn't soften the blow for riders.
I feel really bad and disappointed about the way they managed the situation.
Argentinian-born father of two, Rodrigo Burgos Moore, estimates he worked 30 to 40 hours a week riding for Deliveroo. That's money he now needs to find elsewhere.
I already feel myself struggling and anxious and nervous about this situation, and it's only been 1 day. And trying to figure out other options, trying to look for or seek for other jobs to build up try to keep up the same income.
Nick McIntosh from the Transport Workers Union, or TWU, represents affected riders.
It's a callous decision that's come with absolutely no warning. It's a real kick in the guts.
Deliverers Uber Eats and DoorDash recently came to an agreement with the TWU over rider conditions, while Deliveroo faced off with the union in court.
The real basic things that we expect of any Australian company, this company has just refused to do, and it just goes to show what happens if you take that approach.
In announcing its withdrawal, Deliveroo Chief Operating Officer Eric French said, "This was a difficult decision and not one we have taken lightly. Our focus is now on making sure our employees, riders and partners are supported." But restaurants and riders aside, perhaps those facing the most uncertain future are the more than 100 employees that were housed here in the offices that form Deliveroo's Australian headquarters at this Melbourne high-rise. Deliveroo says employees now looking for a job will receive severance entitlements, while riders will be offered 2 weeks' pay with another 2 weeks pending approval. Rodrigo says he's not holding his breath.
They just announced this administration process, and I don't know how long it's going to take. In the meantime, we need to afford our bills expense anyway, so we need to try to figure out a way to keep that income level at the same as possible.